My favorite YouTuber, Jake Doolittle, has been unfairly canceled by the commentary community based on the fact that he is a progressive trans leftist, and today I thought we would take a look at his apology video, which is obviously very good, and see why people gave him so much hate.
A lot of people are saying that Lyme disease is fake. Chronic Lyme disease is fake. Bruh. And like, these are channels with like 3 million subs who are saying that chronic Lyme disease is fake.
I have chronic lemon disease and it made me sour. Jake Doolittle, he's responded. He's responded in a video on his channel, okay? Addressing everything is the title of this video. So I thought it would be good if we could go through this, see what he had to say. Maybe he's grown as a person, maybe he's changed, maybe he's doubling down. I did notice a lot of his comments very supportive of him and didn't think he did anything bad. So we'll take a look at this and see what he has to say.
Hello everyone. My last video sucked, and the following live stream of me in the hospital trying to see what my audience thought of the video and if everybody hated me was also a really stupid decision. I want it to be known that that live stream was not a response to the videos made. At the time, there was one video made about me, and I went live against my fiance's wishes. She was texting me the entire time telling me to get off live.
Nah, bro. Listen to her, all right? Listen, I'm all for ignoring the woman, all right? You know, woman L, whatever. But sometimes she's right. Sometimes she's right. In this case, she was right. She had your best interests in mind. She was trying to save you from yourself, all right? She was trying to save you from yourself. She seems like a good influence in this situation.
But I thought that I could explain what was going on while in the ER, in a lot of pain, and dealing with insurance. I was literally like, I'll go live, I'll see what the audience thinks, and then hopefully this will all be over. I can explain everything. But first of all, going live and trying to talk about that kind of stuff was really dumb. Also, being in pain, not in a good mental state, and in the middle of talking to nurses, also very dumb.
Yeah, true. Wow. I mean, we're off to a good start to this video. He's got a lot to talk about. He's got a lot to respond to. I mean, there's the false copyright claims. In my opinion, I think they're false. I don't think it should have been done. Even if he might be legally in the right, I would not do that. I think if he was trying to hide, you know, content he didn't want people to see, which I don't like. You know, I'd like him to talk about that. I'd like him to talk about the other video, the original video he made in depth, but I think that'll be good. I think that'll be quite good. There's a lot for him to go over here. But I am glad that he has a voice of reason in his life to tell him that's a bad idea. Responding to allegations is always not a good thing, I would say. Helping the e-beggar is too loud. Muting his video could save my ears. He went to a stream that had like 6 views reacting to his response. Did he? Well, I hope this is a good response. Listen, I'm always of the opinion if somebody genuinely comes around and changes as a person, does the right thing, I think, you know, it's not up to me, but I think they should be forgiven, and I'm not going to, you know, rail on them too much past that point. So I hope that he is being honest here with his response, and I hope that this is a good one. I do, genuinely. I hope it's a good one for his sake, as much as I would like to keep farming.
Not only did I go live thinking that I could clear everything up in the span of 20 minutes while waiting for results from knee scans, I also just dug myself a deeper hole. There's a lot to address, and thinking that I could clear things up while on a vertical live stream holding the phone below my chin is clown behavior. I was genuinely trying to compartmentalize everything that was going on, and there was one video that was made and H3 was going live, and I was like, okay, so if I address this, then there's nothing to talk about, everything's all good, and then I can focus on my health. And in reality, while in the hospital live streaming and getting results like that, it only made things worse. So
true, it did. And it was always going to. So I guess I am perplexed why, as a commentary guy, he didn't realize that ahead of time. But, you know, I guess we'll see what his explanation is. But, I mean, this is a good first 2 minutes. He seems to acknowledge that he made some missteps, severe and continuous lapse in judgment. But I think there's a lot more he's going to have to make up for here for this to be convincing. Bro using his medical issues to deflect his defamation. I mean, he hasn't really done that yet. I think all he's really done is said, like, you know, I had medical issues. I was going through stuff. I shouldn't have done that at that point. He hasn't yet tried to make me feel bad for him, which is good, to be honest.
So this, I guess, is my response to everything that's been said. I want to start out by saying the video that I posted, I was very upset recording that. The attitude and the tone, everything was bad. I came across as annoying and entitled. And prior to recording that day, I had been dealing with one of the first like big major health scares that I have had in the last 3 to 4 years. Since I've started YouTube, my health has been somewhat okay. I've only had 1 or 2 surgeries in the last 3 to 4 years, whereas prior to that, there was a lot more and a lot more doctor appointments, and I felt much worse. I was kind of riding a high of feeling okay. And then I started to get pains that mimicked a lot of what I felt prior to the first round of my surgeries. So I was on the phone with my surgeon and insurance trying to get an MRI approved, but it wasn't able to be approved because I needed an x-ray first. I recorded that video with no notes or preparation. It was 45 minutes as a raw file, and I sent that off to be edited and thumbnailed. It came back as 15 minutes, and I dragged and dropped it into YouTube Studio, attached the thumbnail, and said fuck it, which was probably one of the worst choices I could have made. But I think that's kind of where my mind was at the time.
I mean, this is all interesting. You know, the thing is, I believe him because I don't think any person of sound mind would make a video like that with the content that it had in it. But at the same time, I think what you have to realize is that the average person who's like criticizing him, or even his own audience, I don't think they really care, nor should they. What they're actually going to care about is his actions, right? They're going to care that he shows, you know, regret for his actions, for threatening to blackmail other YouTubers into donating to his charity, for acting so entitled and like he deserves money, right? Like at the end of the day, you know, I feel bad for him that he was going through this stuff, but at the end of the day, this is not the audience's responsibility to understand this or know this. They don't have to care. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. What really matters is what you actually did, you know?
I had also been declined for disability insurance because since I'm self-employed, I don't meet the requirements of disability insurance, because it would be like trying to get coverage for a house in the middle of the ocean, trying to get like flooding insurance. That also added to my stress, because if I end up going through another period of time where I'm very sick, I don't have any sort of backup plan. I had no topics to talk about. I had just watched a video of a YouTuber talking to the camera and ranting about like things that he was passionate about. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do that. And I'm upset and I'm scared and I'm frustrated with everything that's going on in my personal life. So who cares? Especially since it was a complete throwaway video. There's a lot of the stuff that I was saying in that I still stand by, where
Really?
I want never stop to work. Like all the basics of it are still very true, but then in my anger I would say things like, if after a month nobody ends up donating, then I'm gonna have to talk about the people who have declined to donate. And that's stupid. That was me trying to be like, this is how hard I'm trying to make things work. And in reality, it came across as, you know, I have a bunch of rich people who I know. Why don't they give my charity money? I haven't been happy with the way that we haven't been able to up the amount of money given over time. And we are only getting more and more applicants, and we don't have the finances to give out more.
The thing is, I think that frustration makes sense. But taking out that frustration on other people and like demanding that they donate to you and saying that they're not good people if they don't is really bad, you know? It came across as very, very jealous, very, very entitled. And beyond that, it was like, you know, I'd say borderline manipulative, because not even borderline, it was actually manipulative, because he was saying like all these people claim to be good people and they make commentary videos calling people out, yet they make 15 grand per brand deal and they don't give me any of that. And it's like, you know, if you want your charity to do well, the way to do it is to not make people feel bad for not donating. It's to make them feel good for donating. You know, you don't want to give them a negative. You don't want to give them a negative option where like, if you don't donate, I'm going to make a video about you. If you haven't donated, you're a bad person. And that ultimately is going to cut a lot of people off from you. And I think that no matter how good this statement may be or may not be, we'll have to get through it to see how good his apology is. But I think no matter how good his statement is, those YouTubers are not going to want to collab with him. They're not going to come back to him. They're not going to be like, okay, guys, let's go hang out. You know, let's go hang out with Jake Doolittle now. Because on the off chance that this guy feels bad again, he might make another video where he goes schizo mode. You know what I mean? Like it might be a very, very bad idea to collab with him at this point. I would probably not do it. I thought him and Ethan is online were the same person. I did for the longest time. To be honest, now that I see them talk and I've like watched more of their content, I do see that there is a clear difference between them. Like they do look different. They're not the same guy, but they just kind of have the same physiognomy. You know, it looks like they come out of a factory.
More money to more people. Also, because videos that I've been posting haven't been getting views, and I'm freaked about not being able to post or make money if I have another health scare. I was like, it's something to post. It's not going to get views anyways, but I might make $100 off of it. And that was also really fucking stupid.
It is, because when you're like a channel with 300,000 subscribers, you know, it's not like you're just shouting into the void here. There are people who are going to see your videos who are going to not like them. And especially people are probably somewhat slightly hypercritical of him and aware of what he's doing because he's had other controversies in the past, like with Ethan Klein. So people are going to be paying attention. You can't just, you know, when you're a YouTuber of this size, you can't just post things and accept that nobody will criticize you. Nobody will look at what you're doing. I think before you post pretty much every video, you should, to the best of your ability, try to think like, okay, what am I actually like in this video? How do I actually come across? Am I coming across as an insane person? Is this video going to benefit me? If you're going to be the face of a charity, you have to at least be likable. I mean, you don't have to. But if you're unlikable, people won't want to donate to your charity. It's gonna, you know, make you look very it's gonna make the whole charity look bad. Especially because it's not like he's like one influencer guy who is like promoting this charity. He personally, I think, owns it, right? He's the guy who runs it. He started it. He started Never Stop. And I think you know, you can criticize Never Stop all you want. I still think the ultimate motivation behind it does seem good. Execution maybe could use some work. You know, I don't know why he has 7 volunteers, but execution could probably use a little bit of work on it. But realistically speaking, I think that if he wants to push forward on YouTube, he needs to atone. He needs to show a lot of personal growth. I think he really does. And he needs to drop his whole like very entitled mentality around like the fact that he deserves views or deserves attention or, you know, deserves collaborations with people. I'm surprised he said that he stands by any of this, but I guess we'll see what he has to say.
I had been telling myself like, I'm going to post every 2 to 3 days. I think it was on day 2 or 3 that I hadn't uploaded, and I was like, I have to do something. Let me just fucking do this. It was the worst decision I could have made.
That is a bad decision. Instead of, I get it, you know, you want to post stuff consistently on YouTube, okay? You want to get content out consistently on a regular basis. You know, sometimes there's not a lot to talk about. You're like, all right, I got to get something out. Fair enough, I get it. But to some extent, you have to recognize that it is better to post a good video later than post a mid video now. Because if you post a mid video now, it won't do well long term, right? If you're not thinking about how that content can be evergreen. You know, there's a discussion people have on YouTube around evergreen content versus like short-term trendy content, right? Trendy stuff is like only going to be relevant for 1 or 2 days. Nobody's going to watch it in a couple days, right? Like think like most moist critical videos, right? And then there's like quote unquote evergreen content, someone like Patrick CC, who we post a video once a week, but those videos in a year will still be watchable and people will still want to see it. It'll be relevant content to them, right? And so someone like Jake, if he's trying to reach some kind of middle ground, I think he needs to err on the side of making content that people can actually appreciate after it's uploaded. And also content, more importantly, that won't self-destruct his career, make him look crazy. Dahlia Sponge says, what's stopping him from doing a monthly live stream to raise funds for his charity? Markiplier and Jack do them all the time. I mean, that's not a bad idea. You know, it definitely seems to be a good way to raise money for a charity, for sure.
Do not feel entitled to your money. Your money is your money. As somebody who's freaked about his own personal money, if there was somebody reaching out to me being like, hey, do you want to hear more about my nonprofit? I'd be like, well, I have to take care of myself first. And I don't know the people who I'm talking about fucking financial state. It was a wild assumption to be like, you know, if anybody has extra money, like I've made a few videos with them, where else would they give their money? And that's fucking very, very dumb. Especially while
I don't think that's just it though. I think it's not just where else would they give their money. It's they don't have to give money. Like donating to charity, if it's a good charity, is a good act. Definitely. I think that's a good thing. But it doesn't absolve you of like your past crimes or whatever. It doesn't make you an inherently better person, especially if you're already in a position where you have a bunch of money and donating that money to charity will not, you know, make you take a big hit to your finances, right? Nobody, no matter how rich they are obligated to give to any charity or any quote unquote good cause.
the nonprofit is in a state of like building things up. If it speaks to what my mindset was, I posted that video genuinely not thinking anyone would see it because our website is not functioning at all. I thought that people would recognize my frustration as me trying or showing people that I care, and that's just the wrong way to do it.
Yeah, also like people don't care that you're saying that you care. Like if you're like I care, what's actually going to show that is your actions, right? Just saying, I care, I'm a good person, is not going to make people like you. It's not going to make people want to watch you or want to donate to your charity. He posted a video to the internet and thought nobody would see it. Yeah, that is a weird thing. Like, I don't really get how he has that mentality, especially as somebody who, he covers commentary topics, right? He covers undoubtedly stuff that, you know, influencers are like, oh, nobody even watched this video. Why does it matter? Obviously, he would be critical of those people, right? So it's perplexing to me that he thought posting a video on his 300,000 subscriber YouTube channel would be something that nobody would see or make note of, right?
I didn't want people to think like Jake has had Never Stop for the past year and a half. The number of applicants have only gone up, but the number of donations made has not. And I didn't want that to come across as me being content with what we're doing. Like, I want there to be more. It kind of just came across as like a crazed, like, upset person who's not happy with his friends, his health, like really anything in life. And that's the worst. I do think that it was my initial reaction to having the first day in 3 to 4 years where I was just on the phone with doctors and insurance. And I mean, good God, I could have just waited a day to record. I also didn't think that would get views or attention because I made statements in that video that needed context that I didn't give. Like, I assumed that this was going to be to my core audience.
But like, this doesn't really make sense, because if that was the case, you'd make the title like talking about things I care about or something. But instead you made the video titled I'm frustrated with commentary YouTubers, and the thumbnail itself had like Cody Ko. What, someone else is in the thumbnail too, right? Who else is in the thumbnail?
Begging for money.
I want to see if I can find the thumbnail actually. Yeah, I'm frustrated with commentary YouTubers. I swear there was a different version of the thumbnail where Cody Ko was in the thumbnail as well. Maybe this is like an alternate version, but I swear there was a version that had them. But even if it's not, right? Saying I'm frustrated with commentary YouTubers, which is the genre he's a part of. People know that he's collabed with some big commentary channels like Drew Gooden, right? When people see that, obviously they're going to want to click on it and see it. Like, you are titling the video to get the most views it possibly can. So the idea that like nobody would have ever seen it is kind of dumb. Oh, it's I'm Alex. Yeah. Sorry. It was Cody Ko and I'm Alex. So the idea that like you would put two people who are big commentary channels who have gotten into big controversies in the past while for, you know, alleged crimes against women, right? The idea that you would put that out and not expect people to click on it is dumb. Like, I don't think that's totally honest, to be honest. To be honest, I don't think he's being totally honest. Or if he is, and he does think he's being honest, he doesn't realize the consequences of his actions.
Nobody who I was talking about would see it. It wouldn't be a big deal. And then now it's a whole thing. I said that no nonprofit gives directly to people like we do or something like that. And so my core audience knows that in previous videos I've talked about, like, I think it's really cool that we're able to give money through PayPal and have it in the recipient's pockets within seconds. But without context, that's me saying no other nonprofit does what we do. We're the best. While we're giving 500, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I also said something like no other YouTuber is posting as much as I am or something. First of all, that's just completely false. With context, I was trying to be like, all of my mutuals who I've been friends with for a while, I mean, they upload, like, basically they upload once a month. I'm working so hard. But like, in reality, these people are putting a bunch of effort into their content.
True.
And I'm not. That's why I can put shit out like that. I did take notes for this video, so I'm...
Wow. Well, those notes definitely helped because, yeah, I remember in the video he was like, I put out 73 videos in the past 6 months. Who does that? And it's like, I mean, like pretty much every Daily Slop commentary channel puts out a video like every single day. So, you know, realistically speaking, they are working on their stuff. And also, like, for his peers, like, you know, I guess, who is he talking about here? People who post once a month. I guess like Drew Gooden, right? There are some Drew Gooden videos I've watched that I've enjoyed. And the reason he posts every once in a while, you know, once a month instead of 5 times a week, is because these once a month videos are like well researched, they're well written, they're well thought out, they're well edited. These are not like, you know, the same slop that just everybody's doing, right? They're rather in-depth uploads that, you know, when you watch these videos, it's like an event. It's like a real event. What I'd be really curious about is what like the behind the scenes stuff is from people who know who this guy is or have collabed with him before. Like, I wonder if they've seen his, I'm sure they've seen his video or heard about it. I'm curious what their thoughts on everything are. Not that they would ever do it. You know, I don't think that people like Drew Gooden usually talk about ongoing drama, and he doesn't have to, but I would be, you know, just more, I guess, have some sense of curiosity around like, what do they think? What does like Danny Gonzalez think about this guy, you know?
trying to go through them. If I seem a little jumbled, there's a lot to cover. The reason why I ended up talking about how no influencer has donated to Never Stop is, out of all of those stories that I told of people not giving to Never Stop, one of those happened recently, and that's the one that spiraled me into a fucking tizzy. So a YouTuber reached out to me and wanted to get on a call and wanted to hear more about my nonprofit, and we talked about like all this different stuff. I got my hopes up. Like, this was somebody who could change Never Stop, and kind of was saying things like, you know, I want to hear more about your nonprofit. Let's talk more about philanthropy. Let's do like, and so in my head, I was like, holy shit, I mean, this is amazing. And then that person stopped talking to me.
Here's just a thought. Okay, here's a thought. So Never Stop, what they do is they give $500 a month every month for, you know, the entire calendar year to one person, right? That's what they do. Maybe this guy decided that he would be better off, if he is going to donating his money to a different nonprofit that helps more people, or is already successful, or already is helping a lot more people than Never Stop does. Because, like, why would you, if you're going to donate to a nonprofit, why would you want to donate to a very small one that helps 12 people a year when you could donate to a big one that helps 300 or 400 or 5,000 people a year, right? Like, which one would you rather pick? Where is your money going to be more effective? Probably at the bigger one. Now, obviously, the bigger they are, the more volunteers or maybe even, you know, employees they have. So there's, you know, maybe some kind of detriment there. But realistically speaking, like, the idea that his nonprofit is uniquely good, uniquely the best one, and everyone should donate to him, seems pretty dumb.
I found these fucking niche little times that I've talked to other influencers and used that against them. And that was really fucking shitty. And I don't want to give too much detail about this situation, because this whole idea of threatening to say names was so fucking stupid in the first place that I don't want to now have this video be me releasing a name. But like, I built up in my head over the span of a week different possibilities of working with this person and pitching things. And they had reached out to me, and I know for a fact that I put too much like pressure on that whole situation. I don't think that anybody is obligated to give me money. It is all out of me just being frustrated that things aren't going as well as I'd like them to be. I'm not making enough money to really change anything with the outcome of Never Stop. And I started to find like situations where I was like, oh, well, that person I spoke to a few times and they didn't give me money, so I could use that to back up my claim and argument that people should give me money. And I apologize for making people feel pressured and like hinting at outing people who didn't fucking donate. Again, I've been taking notes for like 2 days trying to get everything in order, but now that I'm reading this back, everything's not in order. So I made 3 copyright strikes after.
All right. We're going to get to the copyright stuff. I mean, I'll say so far, I feel like, you know, he did focus a little bit, maybe too much on how, you know, his life situation sucks, and that's why he did what he did. I do think there's no doubt that that stuff did contribute to it, but I don't think that that is like, you know, enough for me to be like, okay, I feel so bad for you now. I'm retracting my criticism. You know what I mean? But I do like the fact that he has acknowledged, you know, the fact that he was, I guess, trying to pressure people. You're right. I don't like the phrasing of if people felt pressured, because people definitely did feel pressured, and they shouldn't have felt pressured by him. You know, he shouldn't have been trying to make them feel pressured and donating to his fucking nonprofit. But I mean, so far in the first 10 minutes, I feel like he is at the very least acknowledging the legitimate points and criticisms of him. And I think that is good. You know, I think that is good. I'll say that much. I like that.
After that video, the only videos that I copyright striked were pure re-uploads to YouTube with no commentary over it. There's a lot of people who think that I have been copyright striking critical videos of me. I am completely okay with critical videos. I watch a lot of them and they hurt my feelings, but like, a lot of it's valid criticism. I will talk about the criticism that I think.
So the thing with taking down the archives, right, is like, legally, is he in the right to do that? Yes. But typically, the reason why you would take down an archive, or you would take down someone's content, right, is because they are profiting off of you, right? Is because you made an original piece of content, they took your content and uploaded it, and they're making money off of it. But in reality, Rob's Media, his archive channel, the other guy that was archiving this stuff, they were not making money off of his content, right? They were not making money directly from stealing his stuff. They were not. All they did was archive it because Jake had removed it, and they were trying to provide an accessible way to see it. And I feel like for archival purposes, that is a good thing. And I don't think that you should be copyright striking stuff just because you're legally within your right. I think you should only be copyright striking stuff if that person is stealing from you, if that person is making money from your content and you don't want them to be able to, which is fine. If that was the case, that's fine, right? You should make a video ranking top 5 or 10 apology vids would be a banger. Maybe that'll be funny. That could be funny. A lot of apology videos are bad. Even if it's like a good apology, I typically am like, ooh, cringe, cringe. But some of them are good. I feel like Nick is not green when he made his apology video, like the last one he made. I feel like it was pretty good, actually.
Think is completely unjust in a little bit, but when it comes to the copyright claims themselves, they were straight re-uploads of the live stream and my original video that I took down at like 11,000 views. I retracted one of the strikes on the re-uploads because the person emailed me and asked me to retract it. I also felt bad because this person created a new YouTube account to try to re-upload archives, and they had already gotten like over 2,000 subs off of an archive channel. My goal was not to ruin this person's channel, so I took back one of the strikes, and then I think they only have one standing for the next 90 days. And even if...
But why even send one of the strikes? I don't get it. Like, if you did want to take down the content, you can take it down without the strike. Like, you can just block it worldwide without the strike. Like, I've gotten this before. Most times I get copyright claim for music. They don't give me a strike. They just claim the money because they want the money from the song, right? But what he chose to do is he manually added the strike. And the strike is definitely just like, it's like, I'm taking down your content and you're getting a real kick in the ass here, right? The guy he's talking about here, I believe, is Rob's Media. I believe Rob's Media emailed him and was like, hey, can you retract this strike on my fucking channel, dickhead? And he was like, yeah, I'll take down one of them. In my mind, it's like, what is the benefit to giving Rob's Media, his archive channel, a strike other than to just like spitefully hurt him and hurt his income for a week, right? Like, what is the benefit to that? You could just claim it if you really wanted to take it down. I don't think you should do that anyway, but you could just claim it. But instead, he decided to put a strike on his channel, which penalizes him on YouTube. It prevents him from uploading for a certain amount of time. I don't see why he felt the need to do that, really.
I am not mentally prepared to deal with commentary videos about me. I'm not going to take any action against that because I make commentary videos. I understand that that sucks. Now, I guess we'll talk about Never Stop's sort of behind the scenes.
I think that he should just retract every single claim, basically. I don't think you should take that shit down. The people of the chat are throwing shade at your haircut. If you made a vid apologizing for it, you can make it on the list. True, and I could also make money off of it, probably, to be honest. I could, which is a good idea.
Funding and stuff. The way that Never Stop is structured, it is a 501c3 nonprofit organization out of the state of Maine. Here are some of the payments that we've sent out this year. Starting in October, here's 500 we did via PayPal, 120.
Is he doing this just to prove that he did send money? Like, why? Is he just trying to prove that he did actually give money to people that he said he gave money to? What is the point of this?
9, that was for promotional materials for an event that we did. This was a Walmart grant right here. These are just various payouts from Stripe and PayPal. Another sticker mule purchase. Staples was postcards and like pamphlets that we handed out during this event. The only withdrawals are business expenses and the $500 a month.
Oh, I guess he's doing this because people were speculating that the charity actually didn't give any money to people. Maybe that's why he's doing this. Somebody's claiming the charity was fake.
If there's any confusion with Never Stop Clothing and the Never Stop Fund, the way that I was told that we should structure everything is we take the Never Stop Clothing and the Never Stop Fund and separate them, because Never Stop Clothing, Jake Doolittle, my company, would take 10% of the profits and donate that to the Never Stop Fund. Two completely separate entities. Probably stupid as shit that they were the same names, but I had started Never Stop Clothing when I was 16 years old on Facebook, selling to my mom's friends just for proof. Look at this. Never Stop. Isn't that nice design? Jesus Christ. Liked by my fiance in 2018. Prior to YouTube, prior to everything. That was one of our later releases. There were other ones that I can't find. The Never Stop Fund was started because I had made the Never Stop Clothing brand and I wanted to give back to people who are going through the same thing that I once was. Never Stop Clothing was first. And then I liked the name Never Stop and started Never Stop Fund. I didn't want to get rid of Never Stop Clothing, so I made them two separate entities. And in retrospect, that's confusing as shit. And if I could do it over again, I would just have personal merchandise and the Never Stop Fund.
I mean, you can kind of do it over. You could just shut down the clothing you have it, in the way it is now, and then have like your own personal merch and then have the Never Stop merch. And you can give 100% of the profits from the Never Stop merch to the fund. You can do that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? I think that's probably for the best. Does he really think anyone's going to buy his clothes now? I'm not sure. I mean, the thing is, maybe some of his fans will. I don't know. If he still wants to try to help his charity, obviously he's going to try his best, but yeah. Yet you're still false copywriting other YouTubers who are covering you now. It just goes to show you learn nothing. By the looks of your comments, your audience lacks the capacity to hold you accountable. The internet is such a weird place. I'd love to know what you're talking about. Oh, so I guess what he's saying here is he didn't continue doing it after this video. He did it before this video. I struck a pure re-upload with no commentary or criticism. Even the title of the video was the same. The thing is, like I said before, I just don't think you should be taking down archives of your content unless they're like making money directly from you. Like, I don't think that's a good idea, really. I don't think it's a cool thing to do. I think generally speaking, if somebody is like ripping you off, if they're uploading content as if it's their original stuff or they're just trying to make money off of it, I think that's shitty. But if they're archiving something you did and posted publicly so that other people have access to it, you know, I think you should not take that content down, basically. And especially the strike is pretty bad. Like, if you've retracted the first strike, why not just retract all of them? You know what I mean?
With maybe not the same name, but I thought since there were two different URLs, it would be better. I don't know. And I apologize for the confusion. On the upside.
Yeah, but he wasn't, someone in chat said, he wasn't copyright striking React videos, to be fair. He just re-uploads, still shady, but not the same thing. Yeah, I mean, I still think it's kind of the same thing to me because, you know, functionally what you're doing is you're taking down the archive. And if you take down the archive, you make it less accessible for people who react to your stuff to access it, right? So I think it would probably be for the best to not strike any of it, not take down any of it. I don't think it's good, you know. The circumstances under which I, for example, would be, you know, copyright striking, DMCAing stuff, which I don't think I've ever really filed a DMCA claim. I think I tried to file a DMCA on Spotify because this guy was just taking my videos and re-uploading them there. And I think I did try to file a DMCA and it didn't go through. But generally speaking, the only reason I would do something would be if somebody was taking the content that I have made now, that I have publicly up on my channel, somebody re-uploaded it and they're making money from it. Like, maybe I would strike that, maybe. But otherwise, I don't think there's any reason to do it, really. You know, unless they're directly taking from your income on purpose. I don't think there's any reason to do that.
Side though, since there's been so much confusion and so many questions, 100% of all of the profits from the Never Stop clothing brand now go into the fund. And the reason why the websites are so fucky is because I am trying to merge two websites into one and still have the clothing brand, but also have the old website redirect to the new one. This is the Never Stop Fund application form. People were wondering about the security of this. When you upload your tax return or any proof of disability or food stamps or government programs, the file is only shared with my personal email, not the Google Workspace. I'm the only one who sees all of this. I absolutely want to address this website. This is the one that we're currently trying to rebuild, but as you can see, prior to the controversy, I literally was trying to figure out how to add pages to different Shopify tabs, and seeing the mistakes that I've made while trying to build up Never Stop on such a public platform is horrifying. So up until now, I feel like all of the criticism has been very valid. I can take a lot of the jokes that people are making about my health. I also understand that it all seems insane. It all seems crazy. I get and also don't get why people don't understand it. I feel like it's people who have never experienced like strange autoimmune stuff who are like, there's no way he could have actually been this sick. Like, that's what I dealt with my entire life, and I can sort of brush that off. But there are a few things that I feel like I need to address that I don't think are.
I think part of it for me personally is like, he talks about how sick he is and how he can't do anything, can't get a job or whatever, but he is still making like relatively frequently making commentary videos shitting on people on the internet with like relatively high energy levels. But I will say, like, you know, the reason why I didn't go down the rabbit hole of like speculating on and accusing him of faking his illness is just because I don't fucking know. You know, I don't know anything about Lyme or chronic Lyme. I had a lot of people who were like, it's not a real disease. Doctors don't think chronic Lyme is real. And I was just like, I don't feel a need to go down that rabbit hole because I don't fucking know. I'm not a doctor, you know? It's hard for me to speculate too much on an issue like that unless there's like dead to rights proof of him faking it or something.
Are justified at all. So again, because I hate myself and I watch every hate video about me, I watched H3 go through essays that I had wrote in college about my experience. I forgot that I even wrote these. We were given an assignment to talk about like different kinds of discrimination that we've seen in our lives and how it's affected us or been shown towards us, right? And so I wrote these two little articles and then was asked to post these on our school's blog or whatever. I would have never done that had I known they would would be in front of hundreds of thousands of people. This first one is called age discrimination. That's about me being young and in college and trying to get opportunities, and then people would think that I was too young.
Okay. I mean, obviously the essays are probably cringe. If I had to guess, they're probably just inherently fucking bad. But I will say, like, in college, they make you write some really cringe essays about discrimination. You know, in college, there's a lot of that kind of stuff. And they straight up make you, they straight up will make you write essays about how you've been discriminated against. And you have to, like, rack your brain for some fucking thing, you know, some fucking thing to complain about in your life. When in reality, it's typically like, it's nothing, right? So, I mean, at least he's acknowledging that, you know, he was made to write that essay basically in school. It's a fake middle-aged white woman disease like CFS. The thing is, I don't know what CFS is, and I also just don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not a doctor. Talk to a doctor. If you want to debunk him, talk to his doctor, I guess.
That one at the time was very bothersome to me because I was like 16 or 17 trying to get full-time jobs, and they were like, you're too young, but you have experience. And I was like, but the experience. And they're like, no, you're fucking 16 years old. Stop. This one to me has been the worst that people have talked about. Actually, no, the second worst, because there's also people posting a video of me when I was 15 talking about how I'm sick, or 16 or something. That's insane to me. This one's called disability discrimination. It was made in 2020. I think it was 18, 19. And I talk about how I've been sick for the last 15 years. There's been a good amount of people who have been reading this and they're like, I don't fucking believe it. I think it's stupid as shit. I don't think this even happened to you. And luckily enough for you, because you have made it so that I have to do this, I will show you all of the medical records that I have on hand, and also scans of the inside of my knee, proving to you that this has all actually happened. That's actually insane that I've gotten so many comments and so many people have been saying that I've been faking everything, that I need to do this.
Well, I'm glad I didn't go down that rabbit hole. I thought it would probably be a bad idea to accuse him of faking his illness, and I'm glad I didn't go down that rabbit hole. I feel like they could have bitten me in the ass, you know? Shout out to all the people trying to get me to claim that he was faking it all right? Shout out to all of you. Fuck all of you.
Couldn't read, comprehend, or genuinely think because the pain was so bad. That is true. The diagnoses that I have affected me neurologically to a point where on bad days,
like if I had done that, I would have been just as bad as he was when he accused Ethan of faking his illness, basically, right?
Days, I was just sort of sitting in my bed with an eye mask and ice packs on my forehead and headphones because I couldn't fucking function. I went to like a brain retraining program for people who have had strokes because my eyes weren't tracking, like I couldn't read or track across like a page without getting migraines or write or really genuinely use my fucking brain. In the end, they attribute everything to like that tick bite, but I mean, who knows? In middle school, I started to fully understand what discrimination is. One day I showed up to school in a wheelchair because I woke up and I couldn't walk. So I'll give you details on that. I woke up and I couldn't walk. I couldn't do crutches because it was affecting both of my legs. I rolled up to the front door and the nurse greeted me by rolling her eyes. She pulled my mom aside and told her that my wheelchair was too much of a hassle and a distraction. The entire school I thought I was faking my pain for attention. We actually spoke with lawyers regarding that, and unfortunately we didn't have a case.
My mom has autoimmune issues, so I understand why people want to call out fakers, but it's just kind of messed up to do it, especially if they have it. I mean, the real thing is, it's just hard to say, like, you know, with medical issues that you can't see with your eyes, you know, you can't literally see it, you know, it's very difficult to assert, like, this guy doesn't have this medical disease that he's claiming to have. Like, if he brings out medical records, you're fucked. You're fucked, absolutely, right? Aiden Paladin in chat says chronic Lyme is not considered real by most physicians. I mean, maybe not, but I'm not a physician. I'm not a doctor, so, you know, what am I supposed to say about it? To clarify, Tom is the big baby, not the guy he's watching. I am a big baby, and I'm proud of it. I'm Wendigoon's little baby. Feed me milk from your man boobs. Me when Wendigoon gives me his mommy's milk. It's so tasty, Wendigoon. It's way better than formula.
Because I did not myself due to the treatment that I received from Mahoney Middle School in South Portland, Maine. The middle school I went to was a very old building, and they didn't have elevators. They only had stairs, but on the stairs, to be ADA compliant, they had these little things that you could roll a wheelchair up on, and it would take like 5 minutes for this thing to go down the stairs. I was like, hey, can I leave class like 5 minutes early? A janitor or somebody can help me navigate this. I was the only person who needed.
Jake, please hold me. I'm a big baby. I'm a 5'10" baby. Please hold me in your arms and stroke my hair and make me feel safe.
To use it. The nurse
My
was
bad.
saying how much of a problem that was because there needed to be someone to man the chairlift. And so what they ended up doing was just putting me in the like teacher's meeting room and bring me meals. And so I would be there for like 6 hours. Also, I want to clarify, I said I couldn't read, comprehend, or genuinely think because the pain was so bad. So like whenever I used my brain or read or tried to do homework, me saying I couldn't do this means that it would cause migraines and headaches, and I would feel nauseous, and I would sometimes vomit. Not that I didn't know how to read, but that when I did these things, it would cause me so much pain that I would say I couldn't do this. I did have 100 doctor appointments in 1 year. That is true. I was diagnosed with Lyme disease. Okay, let's chat. A lot of people are saying that Lyme disease is fake. Chronic Lyme disease is fake. And like, these are channels with like 3 million subs who are saying that chronic Lyme disease is fake, which is really insane.
Who said that? What channels with 3 million subs? The only channel I know of that talked about him with a very large following is Ethan Klein, right? Has anyone else said that? I haven't heard anyone else say that. I could be wrong, but I guess I'll look up like Jake Doolittle Drama. Optimus, Nick Diorio, Papa Gut, Rob's Media, all relatively speaking small channels, so I don't know. Maybe he's saying like the combined subscribers of all of them is 3 million? I'm not really sure. Quit the horsing around. This is cereal. You're right. This is cereal.
My bad. I didn't mean to make fun of it. My chronic Lyme.
I have chronic lemon disease and it made me sour.
When I was diagnosed with chronic Lyme disease, that was not a controversial thing. Here's the thing that disappoints me the most. It's all based on terminology. Basically, I was bit by a tick when I was 3. I didn't start treatment for like a decade after. And so they weren't able to catch it and treat me like they would with somebody who got Lyme disease and they caught it early. Because it was in my system for so long, I was on antibiotics for a majority of my life, which is
I think he can tell a compelling story because he's lived through something unique and horrifying, but it's the core of his content. What do you mean it's the core of his content? Like the core of his content is that he talks about his chronic Lyme, or the core of his... I don't think he talks about it that much. I could be wrong. I don't watch a lot of his videos, but I don't think he talks about it in every single video. To be fair, every channel talking about him has doubted everything. I mean, there's a difference between like slightly doubting it based on the fact that he was being so crazy in his video and then like outright accusing him, you know what I mean?
just really, really bad for you. People literally just read headlines, and it really frustrates me because people who have Lyme disease that isn't treated by the first 30 days of antibiotics, according to some of these big channels, are completely fucking false. But the report that they're quoting from the CDC, this is the exact same thing that they're reading. They do not read the entire thing that says the conditions where patients experience prolonged symptoms due to Lyme disease is called post-treatment Lyme disease syndrome, and its cause is currently unknown. The Centers for Disease Control encourages using this term.
He's calling him out on medical misinformation, all right? He's calling out Ethan Klein on medical misinfo. Chudboy accused him lightly. Oh, yeah, maybe he did. It's possible. I haven't watched all of Chud Logic's coverage, to be honest.
Terminology when communicating about prolonged symptoms due to Lyme disease. They discourage the term of chronic Lyme disease because it implies that prolonged symptoms are caused by an ongoing bacterial infection when in fact the cause is not currently known. So I use Lyme disease as a blanket term for the co-infections that I got from the initial bite. I have a diagnosis of Bartonella, which is a parasite that's in your blood that I got from the initial tick bite of Lyme disease. We would assume, this is all guesstimating, the only thing that I can tell you is what shows up in blood results and what my diagnoses are. They don't know what really caused all of these things. I have these marks specifically under my armpits and on my legs. That is...
Well, let's see him. Let's see him, big guy. I mean, he makes everything about his illness in some way, shape, or form. Can't separate work from his private life. I mean, to some extent, you know, to be clear, he does have a commentary channel, right? It is his opinion, so he's going to talk about it to some extent. I think people are probably sick of hearing it at some point, but he is going to talk about it. These marks look effed up.
Called Bartonella rash. I understand why people would be confused, but then to say that I've been faking it because I used the wrong terminology because it was not told to me when I was 13 years old and diagnosed is absolutely insane. I also saw that H3 said that there was no way that I could be 23 with 9 knee surgeries. Here are photos from every single surgery that I had. This goes back to 2016, 2017. I'm sorry that I'm cropping these weird. It has the location of the surgery surgery center that I go to. April 25th, 2017. This is me dancing in another hospital bed. Fuck. Pre-surgery. July 7th, 2017. August 25th, 2017. 2017 again. August 13th, 2018. I don't remember if that was knee or if that was a different one. This is some of my most recent ones. January 7th, 2021. April 1st, 2021, and then April 22nd, 2022. And also, just because I am trying to be a open book, I went into my insurance portal.
I mean, I believe him. He probably did have the knee surgeries. That's probably true. I don't doubt it that much. I will say, you know, I hope the knee surgeries went well, because if they did, then we'd be able to get more keynote Jake dancing content. I cannot dance like this. I'll be honest. I cannot, you know, I don't think it's a surprise, but I can't dance like this. It's just not a thing I'm capable of. So personally, I, you know, am envious of the fact that he can, you know, throw it back, so to speak. And I can't do it. All right. Look at that, dude. I can't do that. Can you do that? Didn't think so. Yeah, dude. I can't do that. I'm not capable. Just not a thing I'm capable of doing. So, you know, I hope that these surgeries go well so we can get more dancing content from him, frankly. That's what I would like to see more than anything. I say, honestly, quit YouTube and just do dancing, if my opinion matters at all.
And the only things that I can find are from my most recent insurance that I got. So these are some of the diagnoses. I mean, chronic.
If you don't donate to my charity, you're an evil person. I have Lyme disease and my knee hurts. That's true. Chad, how are you going to talk shit about Jake? Can you dance like that? Didn't think so. I agree with that, Nick. I agree with that completely. Frankly, I you know, I didn't realize the error of my ways. I need to stop making videos about this guy because he can dance and I can't. I'm just saying.
Chronic pain, who cares? Muscle wasting and atrophy. That's because I had just had screws in and I wasn't moving. Okay, so osteochondritis dissecans, I believe, is what's caused.
Once again, I regret being born white. Listen, if you're a white man, this is your Martin Luther King. This is your representation. Okay, so, you know, we take what we can get here.
Causing the cartilage to shred constantly and for my menisci and stuff to...
He claims he doesn't know the right terminology for his illness. This seems like a boogie moment, but it's not really a boogie moment because Boogie claimed that he had an illness, that he had cancer, which he does not have at all, and provided no proof of it whatsoever when asked. And ultimately, the proof showed that he didn't actually have it, right? Jake Doolittle is showing medical documents seemingly confirming that he does have it, as far as I can tell, showing that he did have the knee surgery. So this is not really the same thing.
Be so weak. That's also, I believe, why my knees crumbled in the first place, or it was from one of the bacterial infections. I don't know. Oh, pink eye. That one doesn't count. Arthritis of the knee, systemic Bartonellosis. There are 2 separate tests. Lyme disease, 3 separate blood tests. Also, I say chronic Lyme disease because if I'm testing positive for it in blood and it's not going away after 30 days, like everybody says it will, I believe that that's chronic. I understand that the term post-treatment Lyme syndrome is correct, but it is a chronic condition. Psoriatic spondylitis, I thought I had ankylosing spondylitis. Are you incorrect? Chronic fatigue syndrome. I mean, just a lot of random shit, and that's not even including all the stuff that I got when I was at Boston Children's. And in
He's way too focused on explaining his illness while the point is mainly to apologize for the shit he talked about. I mean, he is going on about it for a long time, but I will say he did, for the most part, at least get the criticisms out of the way. Whether you agree with how he addressed it or not, he did get it out of the way. So I think that it does make sense to respond to this stuff towards the end, because a lot of people are accusing him of faking his illness, to be clear. So I think it makes sense. Where is bro running into all these ticks? I mean, he does live in Maine. There's a lot of woods in Maine. So, I mean, it does make sense, you know. There are a lot of ticks outside. I used to get ticks. I used to, like, go to summer camp, okay? I would run around in the woods. Get home, my mom would be like, do you have ticks? I was like, no. She'd look, I had like 5 ticks on my body. So, you know, you do have to do a tick check if you live here and go in the woods.
In Connecticut and doing all that. That's literally within the last 4 years. I also just want to respond to a few of the things that are online. This guy, Nicholas Diorio, I don't know who he is.
Uh-oh.
He has been posting this horrendous fucking photo. I wish that I could show you the original photos that I took, but that's after the brand said you have to look a little bit more enthusiastic, and so I did that as a silly joke. I mean, he has been constantly tweeting about me. I attempted to do...
Dude, I want to get sponsored by that company. I think you guys know that I need to be sponsored by that sex toy company right now. Those pictures are fire. I hope he didn't take them down in his community tab, did he? I wonder if the brand will be mad if he talked about them too much. said that they wanted him to look more enthusiastic. These pictures, dude. Yes, dude. This picture rocks. This picture is awesome. I would take the sponsorship in a heartbeat. I don't give a fuck. This is a crazy contraption, though. Is your pussy broken? That's why you need this? Like, what happened? What happened to you that you need this? You know what I mean? Like, what did chronic Lyme just destroy his vagina? And just make it so you'd have this strange contraption?
Do a bunch of AMAs talking about like never stopping stuff.
That's you promoting gooning? I mean, that's a good point, but at the same time, what if they paid me a lot of money? Like, you know, do I want to be a sellout? No. But would I be a sellout if it was like a lot of, like, yes. To be honest, yes.
On Reddit, they all got taken down because I'm stupid and I didn't have enough karma to post. And all the mods ended up like auto taking these things down, obviously, because it was against their terms of service or whatever. And the only one that's
like, imagine if I'm wearing the Stop Gooning merch while I have a sex toy in my hand. That would be so funny.
stayed up was a Lyme disease subreddit I had posted on. And I did that because I was going through these subreddits, and the main problem is nobody has money, and a lot of the treatments you have to pay out of pocket. I did that to be like, hey, this is where you can apply. That was taken as me failing at everything. He only ended up tweeting this video here. That was a news story done when I was, Jesus Christ, like 15 or 16 years old. What the fuck? This is the shit that really, really bothers me. Honestly, when people go like, he's ugly, he's fat, he's stupid, that's fine. But when you start digging up like shit that I've done in the past to try to like talk about what I've been going through, that's insane. Oh, I also needed to show my knee scans. Fuck. All right, so here.
I mean, I don't know. You made posts on a public subreddit not that long ago. Like, obviously people might bring it up and talk about it. It's shitty if they accuse you of faking your illness, but they might bring up stuff you've done publicly. Like, you're a commentary channel. You do this to other people all the time, you know?
Are my knee scans. So this was from one of my left knee surgeries. So this used to be the cartilage in my knee. And because my bones at the time had broken apart, they were shredding my cartilage. A little breakdown of all the surgeries. Left knee screws in, left knee screws out. Right knee screws in, right knee screws out. Left knee cleaning and repairing cartilage. Right knee cleaning and repairing cartilage. Left knee cadaver cartilage, cadaver bone plate screws. The other knee, the exact same thing. And then number 9 was taking all of the hardware out when the cadaver cartilage and bone had set in and my body had accepted it. What I'm feeling right now in my knees is more of the shredding, and my surgeon told me that this would be something that I would have to go back for like a cleanup every like 3 to 4 years. And
Yeah, so I think we get the idea here. I'm curious what his like kind of final statement on all of this will be.
who think that I am Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I have grown up as Gypsy Rose. I've got the fucking glasses. I just need to switch up my voice. Okay, either he's actually chronically sick or you just unearthed a Munchausen by proxy situation. Clear case of Munchausen's by proxy. Did so little he bankrupted his mom. We really need to get to know this man's mom. So that's on Twitter. And then the Reddit community said, this is so interesting. Like, he's never really gotten a solid diagnosis. If chronic Lyme disease isn't a thing, maybe he does have lasting effects. I don't know. I have so many questions. I admit I have suspicions of Munchausen's, but I feel like I'm in the wrong. I feel like a huge dick, whatever. Munchausen's is way more prevalent because of social media. And I ticked all the boxes. Sure, it can exist, but without Jake's personal medical files, it's not reasonable to speculate that his illness isn't real. Well, I showed you all my medical files, and I've shown you the inside of my knee tearing apart due to those diagnoses. I don't know what else I can give you.
Yeah, I think he probably does have chronic Lyme. You know, I'm not a doctor, but, you know, I'm going to just give him enough leeway here to say it probably is a real illness, to be honest. It probably is. You know, I think he probably does have medical issues. I mean, look at this guy. You're telling me he doesn't have medical issues. You're telling me he loves life. I disagree, frankly. Do you like Shadow the Hedgehog? Do I like Shadow the Hedgehog? That's a great question. I think, frankly, the real question you should be having is, do you truly like Shadow the Hedgehog if you're unwilling to pay $35 for a copy of it for your PlayStation 2? If you're not willing, are you really a real Shadow fan? Don't think so. Don't think so. Are you buying this with the manual in the disc? I didn't think so. So yes, frankly, I do think that I'm a huge fan of Shadow. As for you, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's up to you to prove if you are or not. Maybe you should show your Shadow the Hedgehog records. Maybe show it, okay? Instead of fronting. I think out little Chetty, Jake's knee surgery might be hitting. Knee surgery tomorrow? Based. Good evening, Turkish Tomothy. Good Jake Doolittle look like the type of guy to try and one-up people in conversation over being ill. He went to the doctor for a runny nose. I would go to the doctor for a runny nose. I go to the doctor for being too congested once a year. Well, not the real doctor, the urgent care, and they give me they give me the little steroid pills. Okay, they give me some strong stuff, and it clears right up. I'll say that much. Well, the real problem is that it's the nose isn't runny. The real problem is, you know, everything's stuffed up. I get sick. I get on a plane. It destroys my sinus pressure. I can't breathe. Go to urgent care. They get me. Okay, they get me right away. If you love Shadow the Hedgehog, which path did you take? I've literally never played the game. To be honest, I've never played the fucking game. I was lying. I do own it, but I never played it.
I'm sorry if this is unbelievable. This is why I started Never Stop. The video that I made was fucking stupid, and I was angry, and I regret it, and I absolutely apologize for what I said during that video. This was a really long video, but I appreciate you if you stuck through it. I hope that this cleared some stuff up. Again,
I mean, I think some things are cleared up. I think that time will tell if he actually changes as a person. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best statement in the world. It wasn't the worst. But I mean, at the very least, he acknowledged some of the criticisms. I don't like the copyright claiming stuff. I don't like that at all. That makes me lose a lot of respect for anyone if they're copyright claiming archives. So yeah, I don't like that too much. But you know, this seems like the end of the saga for now, probably. Still going to do a video on Tom Dark documenting the whole thing from front to back for people who don't want to watch 6 hours of live stream VODs from my, you know, Tom Dark live channel going over it. I will still do that video. But you know what? If he changes with time, if he doesn't do this again, more power to him. All right? Wish him the best. But yeah, I mean, we did how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is number 5. This is VOD 5. So we'll wrap it all up with one video, putting it all into one succinct saga. And then if he changes, you know, good for him. Anyhow, glad we got that out of the way. Glad he addressed it all. I honestly didn't expect him to. Goddamn. Got overblown because he's so annoying. I definitely think him being annoying definitely made me hate him more. I would say definitely it's like, okay, he sucks for a lot of reasons, but at the same time, like, I just don't like the way he talks. I don't like his smugness. But he didn't seem as smug in that video, which was good. Did enjoy that quite a bit.